الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين، والصلاة والسلام على خاتم الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. صلى على محمد. أما بعد فأوصيكم بتقوى الله فإنه حبل متين وعروة وثقى. صلوات. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. Dear brothers and sisters in Iman, first of all I advise myself for taqwa, parhezgari and piety, and then I advise all of you for the same. We have been talking about the life of Hazrat Fatima Zahra Salamullah Alayha. Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And while we had a series of majalis remembering and commemorating the life of this great lady who is the greatest inspiration for all of us, not only for our women, but actually every believer. She is an inspiration. We try to look into her life and discussed a few issues in those majalis and in those khutbas before those majalis. I would like to continue that discussion even today, and we may conclude it inshallah by the next Friday, this series of discussion. And this is an attempt to change this tradition of speaking about these Ma'asumeen alayhimu salatu wassalam only one day, on the day of their wiladat or on the day of their shahadat, just a very traditional kind of talk and discussion about these personalities, repeating a few lines and calling it the day. So we are trying to talk about these individuals in a little bit more detail. As you have seen, we discussed the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in these khutbas of Jum'ah for almost 2 months or little more than that. And we tried within this limited amount of time to look into more and more details and lessons to learn. And now, of course, we are dealing with this life of Hazrat Fatima Zahra Salamullah Alayha. And today, basically, now, one thing which is as a conclusion of the previous discussions, and then we will expand and try to get into some practical issues. When we claim the greatness of this lady and we say that she was the greatest lady ever in humanity, it's not just because she was daughter of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Of course, this is a great honor and this is a great fadilat on her credit, but this is not the real reason or to make her the greatest. And she was, of course, the wife and the life partner of Amirul Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wassalam, which is again a great honor and a great fadilat and privilege. But this is again not the real reason of the greatness of this great lady. And of course, she was the mother of those 4 very distinguished sons and daughters, all of those who were the great leaders and inspirations, like Imam Hassan, Imam Hussain, and Lady Zainab and Lady Kulthum. And that was again a great thing to be a mother of such sons and daughters, but that again is not the real reason of the greatness of this lady. The real reason of the greatness of this lady is that she was Fatima. Her own life, her own belief, her own contribution, her own life and services, and what she stood for, and what she did, and what she accomplished, and what she did, that actually made Fatima the greatest among all the women. And so all those other fadail, being the daughter, being the wife, being the mother, those are great fadail, but basically her own seerah, her own life, her own faith, her own services, her own struggle, in that short span of time, 18 years according to our riwayat, 28 years according to their riwayat. So again, the difference is not that much, 18 or 28. But within that short span of time, you look in any area of life, you will see this lady a shining star. Whether it is knowledge, whether it is practice, whether it is your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whether your relationship with the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whether maintaining your ideal relations with your father, with your husband, with your children, but at the same time maintaining your ties and relationship with your neighbors and the community members and the needy and the deserving people in community and society, and also engaging in the community activities, whether they are in peace or in war. You see at every front Fatima Zahra Salamullah Alayha participating in a leading manner. So she was everywhere with Prophet, with her husband, and with her children, and that makes her a great lady, a great example. And this is the area which distinguishes her from Maryam, for example. Maryam is another greatest example for the ladies, and no doubt that she is uswa and she is an example. But as I mentioned in my majalis also, that she is not a kind of example to follow for many ladies. She may be an example for nuns, for example, but not for the women that who have the husbands, and the women who have children, and the women who have the families, and who are involved in community and society and outside in the society, because she was basically a lady that who had dedicated her life only to the service of God within that little area of life. And also we don't see the details of her life. Those details are not available to our ladies and to our girls, that what were her services and what were her sacrifices and what she did, and all those kind of things. Those are not available, not only in our literature, but they are not available even in the literature of those that who look at her as actually one of those three or whatever, meaning I mean the Christians. So that is one point that which we need to keep in mind, that Lady Fatima is someone that whose life is documented, whose life details are available, and our ladies can follow her in all these different areas. And yes, those are very high ideals. Maybe for most of us it is not possible to be like them, but at least we can try our best and to be like them in whatever way we can. We are never going to be like them, but at least those are the high ideals, and those are the inspirations which inspire us, and we look into their lives. So that was one point I thought that I should make as a conclusion of the discussions which we had. Now, one thing which we always hear in our majalis, we read in the books, and sometimes we just read or listen and move on. I don't know how many of us really appreciate the background of that or the beauty of that. This very famous story that while she was working at home, she had those young children, and she was occupied with so much work, and Amirul Mu'mineen comes at home, looks at her, and then tells her that you are struggling with all this, and in masjid there are now so many these slave girls, and these people are available, and Prophet is distributing among them, among the community members. So why don't you just go and ask Rasulullah to give one maid to you, so in that way at least you have little less work to do or get some relief. So it was a request of her husband, and she goes to the Prophet, and you know the details of the story, but she goes there with that request, and Rasulullah looked at her, and then he said, no, my daughter, these comforts of life or these luxuries of life are for other people, not for me, you, and us. We need to remain at the minimum level of the life within our community and leave these things for the other people. Then we all know the story that Rasulullah told her that let me actually instead give you something better. And then Prophet taught her this tasbih, which we know as tasbih Fatima Zahra Salamullah alayha, and she comes home. Now, The point which I would like to explain here and try to elaborate is, my brothers, what is the meaning relevance between a maid, a help at home, and between getting another duty, another responsibility, or another something to do for yourself? You have so much you were doing before, and now you add up one more activity for yourself and give her the speed. So what is the meaning? You come to ask me, for example, a pen, and I give you, for example, an apple. So there is no link, no relation between these two things. She comes to ask for a help, that I need a maid, I need one of these ladies to come and help me at home, and Rasulullah could give her something similar to one of those things, that I cannot give you exactly like this, but something of the same sort, or which serves the same purpose at least, but it is totally different. One of the answers which I had heard from my great teacher, that who was used to look into these kind of things between the lines, so he explained me that imagine now somebody comes to you asking something with a request. It can be your son, it can be your daughter, it can be your wife, it can be your friend or your companion, comes to you asking something, and you don't want to give him or give her that thing. But if you know this person and its taste and its what you call the its mindset and its lifestyle, or what he or she loves the most, for example, or better. Now you want to say no for this thing, but sometime instead of giving this one, you can give something, you know the person, that what he or she likes the more. And then if you bring that thing in, for example, you know somebody comes to you and asking you, for example, comes to me and asking, Maulana, can I have this one more, for example, you know this khake shifa, which we use here for sajda. Sometimes people who don't know the masail, that these are waqf for masjid, and these things cannot be taken to the home. So there are people in community that they will not even bother to come to ask you. They will just take one with the good intention that, oh, they are beautiful and I need that one. I will be praying by using this at home. And they just take it. There are so many things that we put in the masjid and then we see, oh, they are not there. So I don't think that somebody is stealing, but I know that there are people who don't know the masail, and they see something and then they just take it for the same use at home without asking permission or without realizing that this is haram, and they will not get any sawab, but they do it because they are not trained, they are not taught in that way. Some people may be sophisticated enough that they will come to you, Maulana, can I take this one copy of Quran at home? Or can I give you something, this more to you? And I want to take it this more or sajdagah at home. No, of course you cannot give, because this is waqf for masjid. Somebody who has brought it, he has brought to be used in masjid. But if I know that person and its taste, while I am saying no for this one, and I know this person has a great interest, for example, in collecting the antique and the old, those manuscripts of Quran, for example, or hadith, or books of poetry, or salam, or marsiya, or something like that. I know this person is in that. Now, while I'm saying no to this, I know he or she actually is more in love with collecting those books of Mir Anis, for example, or Mir Dabir. So what I do, I say, no, I'm not going to give you this, but tell you, I have something better for you. I have something better for you. You come to my office. I have just received a collection of Marsiya of Mir Anis. It just came from Lucknow, from his own family. So this person who was asking me more, or this person who was asking me something this little, when knows that, oh, while he or she is collecting those things and now is finding something which is best coming right now from the family of Mir Anis, for example, will forget about this. What is this more? I can get it from here. Please, Maulana, give me that. So this different kind of offer when I am making to this person, it is not somebody is asking me chair and I am giving table. No, it is realizing that what is the taste of this person and what she likes the most. And then Prophet offers, instead of maid, Prophet is offering tasbih, which shows basically that Sayyida Fatima Zahra Salamullah Alayha was that much in ibadat and dhikr and tasbih that when she is making this request of maid, if Prophet would offer her some beautiful dhikr and tasbih and namaz or something like that, she will jump for that and she will run for that and she will forget even what she was asking for. That actually explains the background and the taste and the mindset of Fatima Zahra Salamullah. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense. Somebody comes to you asking for a help to work at home, and then you give another chanting, another duty, and another something, namaz or zikr or something like that. And then look the barakah. The Prophet, what he gave, if he would give a maid, for example, to Hazrat Fatima, even if he would give 2 maids, 10 maids, for example, how long they would live? How long they would work for Sayyida? When she was gone, they were also gone. Today, they would be buried all in Jannatul Baqi or somewhere, and that was it. But what he gave to Fatima, it was not only for that time. No, you count the number of people from her time until today that who have been reciting this tasbih, Sunni and Shia both sides of Islam, both Muslims, they recite that tasbih. And count the number of believers that who started reciting this tasbih from the time of Fatima Zahra Salamullah Alaiha until today for 1400 years, and they will continue reciting that until the day of judgment. And all this dhikr, all this tasbih, all this ibadat is coming from that question and that request which she made, and she becomes the reason. And this is given to her, and she narrates now to others, and everybody is reciting. So how much sawab, how much blessing, how much barakat Sayyida Fatima Zahra Salamullah Alaiha is receiving every day, every night, after every prayer, constantly from that day until today, and from here until the day of judgment. So it was much bigger thing, meaning there is no comparison in the benefit of having that maid to wash for you your dishes, or to vacuum your home, or to get the sawab of this tasbih and zikr from that time until forever. So Prophet actually, and this is the job of sometime my brothers and sisters, seniors, fathers, elders, when our children come to us with requests, when our juniors, when our fellow and friends come to us with requests, they are requesting at their level. Their understanding is at their level. They think this thing is very important for them, and they are looking for that, or they are asking for. But a job of father, job of a leader, job of an elder is to look at the bigger picture. We don't have to give every time everything what they ask. No matter if you have your daughter like Fatima, you don't have to every time give everything what they ask. Maybe you can give something bigger. You can give them something better if you can. So that is also another lesson, that we don't have the level of daughter and father doesn't have to be the same. The level of daughter is different, the level of father is different. So a father has to look at the bigger picture and see what helps more and what is going to be in greater interest of my daughter, and try to give that instead of just giving what he or she is asking. And of course, these things can be explained. And one lesson what we can learn here as sons and daughters, in these days, when you turn down the request of your son or daughter, what happens? So when you don't give them what they are asking, when they come to you with the request and you don't give them, so immediately they get, many of them, disappointed. They start crying, shedding tears, feeling that you don't love them. You are not, for example, you are not very kind. You are not very much accommodating. While you could help, but you didn't. And this is again the good behavior, only shedding the tears or feeling a little disappointed, slamming the doors, for example, and doing so many other ugly things, and stopping to talk, or to locking yourself in the room and closet, and those kind of things. My brothers and sisters, these examples which we hear in majalis and in lectures, they are not only for Nara-e-Haidari. These examples are not only to just listen and recite salawat and move on. There are so many lessons to learn from even these examples, that when father doesn't agree and when father doesn't give you what you are asking, then you need to think that maybe it was not in my best interest that my father didn't give me. And what my father is offering, he is more mature than me, he has more experience, he has more wisdom, he has seen this world more than me, or he knows his limitations, he knows my limitations, and if my father is offering me something different, then I should go with that. That much faith a daughter or a son must have in their father or in their mother. My brothers and sisters, this faith in one another, and this what you call the positive thinking about one another, and agreeing with each other, and is also very important for all of us. So this is what I always say, that our families should be the best families under the sun, because we have the best example in front of us. Meaning, who could have a family where Muhammad Mustafa and Ali Murtaza and Khadijatul Kubra and Fatimatul Zahra and Hassan and Hussein and Zainab and Kulsum can be there in front of them as their role models. We have the best example in front of us. Best family, the first family, you can call them in the world. First family. As you know, these days they call the first family and this first lady and the first man and this and that. So this is the first family of Rasulullah. And they lived their life in front of us. And they left their legacy and their examples. And as I said, we will never go at their level. We know we are too little, too short. We never can reach them, but at least we can try. Look into their life. And whatever we read or whatever we hear about their life and the stories of their life, every story has so many lessons. I am finishing my khutbah. I always make that a few points from Hadith-e Qissa. Many times Hadith-e Qissa is recited just like parrot. If somebody is reciting, and people are listening and only chanting salawat and then kissing their hands and face, and yes, everything is done. While Hadith-e Qissa, the story of Qissa has lesson after lesson, lesson after lesson. But we don't think that Hadith-e Qissa is being recited or being narrated to us as a story where we have to draw some morals or where we have to learn something from it. Or just this story of this Sayyidah coming for asking the maid and Prophet giving her tasbih. So this little story which we are listening from childhood until this age, but how many times we looked into the lessons of this story, that what are the lessons in this particular story, and we can learn and we can practice. Recite salawat. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحليم الكريم غافر الذنب وقابل التوب وهو الغفور الرحيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى أمير المؤمنين وإمام المتقين علي بن أبي طالب وعلى سيدة نساء العالمين فاطمة الزهراء وعلى الحسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة وعلى علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي. اللهم صل على مولانا صاحب العصر والزمان صل على محمد وعلى آبائه الكرام واتصل الليالي والأيام. أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. الله أكبر الله أكبر.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن عليا ولي الله أشهد أن عليا حجة الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة